Hello. Hey, listen. I just got off a long call earlier this morning with one of my leadership clients. This guy is a top CEO, and one of the challenges we were talking about is one that we spoke about 2 years ago, and I knew it would come back to haunt them, but they kind of got away with it, but now it has come back. I want to tell you right now that there's no other single factor to grow a successful business than having A players. All right, and when I talk about A players in my other videos, I call them the haymakers, or I call them the guys who bring the bread home. These are the guys who are the top of what they do. Most importantly, these are the guys that after everything has been maxed, you've maxed your money, you've maxed your budget, you've maxed your operations, you have the newest things. This is what gives you the greatest leverage ever, and that is having A people on the team. So in today's videos, I want to tell you right now, hey, now is the time for A players. Post-COVID, you're going to have to do a real search in your heart, in your soul, everywhere deep inside, and ask yourself an honest question. Do I have A players? Do I really have people who are at that level where I know they will get me to the promised land regardless? Okay, now I'm going to share with you 7 attributes of great A players, and I want you to ask yourself honestly. This is one of those situations where you got to have some real honest leadership integrity to say, do I actually have A players? Okay, so number 1 attribute: great A players thrive on having big goals. They thrive on the scorecard. They thrive on knowing, hey, do we have something big we're aiming for here? Do we have something that is bigger than all of us? Okay, A players, anybody who's at the top of their game, they are out there because they're like, you know what? I need to know whether this thing is big enough and whether we are going to be winning or not. Without them having big goals, they don't feel like they're part of anything. You can't keep them. That is why most companies or leaders who are not strong enough will lose certain people, because they are not seeing themselves as being part of something big, but most importantly, something that gives them the ability to win. Okay, that is a big time attribute. So ask yourself a question: do I have A players who thrive on big goals? These are guys who are always saying, hey, what is the next big thing? They don't like to do small things. No, they like big things. Okay, they like to know that they're part of something bigger. They like to know they're part of something that is going to be helping them to win. All right, most important, they like to know, are they winning, are they losing? That is very crucial as well. All right, number 2, A players, or what we call the stackers, are people who they don't depend on motivation. Actually, motivation is for amateurs, if you ask me. Okay, motivation is these guys don't depend on you coming and giving them a good pep talk and saying, hey guys, you can do it. No, these are guys where their motivation is internal. These are guys where they're inspired from inside. They're inspired being part of something big, something amazing. Their motivation is not the perks and how much money you give them. No, their motivation is deep inside, as in they have a real conviction about what they're doing and that it makes a big time difference in the world. The A players are not motivated by big motivation talkers, speakers. No, they're motivated by getting big things done. It is inside. It is introverted, okay? And they don't do motivation, they do inspiration, okay? Number 3 attribute for great A players is that they love report cards. They love to be measured. They love to know that they're winning. Let me give you a great example. If you remember when you were still a young person, this will determine whether you're an A player or not. When you are at the end of the school term, were you the kind who was excited about getting the report card, or were you the person who dreaded the report card? Because that determines whether you're an A player or not, okay? If you remember the A students, the guys who are in school who really wanted to know that they were doing well, they were eager for the end of term report. By the way, I was one of those who kind of dreaded it a bit, but I had to learn that, hey, you know what? You got to know what's going on. But were you the kind of person who used to look forward to the A report, or were you the kind of person who was like, I'm not sure if I really want to get this report card? Or were you the person who would pray that the report cards were late so that you went back home and bought yourself 2-3 weeks of harmony before the report card came? Now, it is the same thing in life with A players. They love the report card. They love to know that they're winning. If they get anything less than the best, they're like, you know what? This is not good enough, okay? They're bothered by it. They're bothered by not winning, okay? They love to be measured. A players, they don't wait for you to measure. They love to, they come and tell you, hey, how are we doing? How am I doing? I need to know, because they believe in winning. They believe in knowing before the end that they're winning. They don't wait for, okay, at the end to be told that, hey, dude, you never made it, okay? So that is crucial. That is very, very important for them. Number 4, A players are technically sound at what they do. Whatever position they're in, they know their stuff. They know their job better than anybody else. They do their job immaculately, splendidly, amazingly, perfectly well. Okay? They're not, they're not second guessing. No, they know their job very well. But also, whichever environment they go in, they learn easily. They know how, if it needs to adjust here, I got to learn this, I got to learn that. Bingo. They're good to go. A players will come in, they will be, they're smooth to work with. They're amazing to work with. When you work with people like this, it makes your life so easy, but you all enjoy what you're doing because they're doing what they love to do. They are very good at it. Everything else just falls in place, okay? Number 5, A players are humble and yet macho. I want you to get that right. They're humble and yet macho at asking for help. Why? You'd think that because they're A players and on top of their game, they're not humble enough to ask for help. But also they know that for them to continue to be the best, they're willing to ask for help. They're willing to ask for coaching. They're willing to go to somebody if they don't know something and say, hey, you know what? I just don't know how to do this. My question to you is, I want you to look at the people you have in your company. You will notice that the guys who are the best are quick to go and find help. The guys who are not, they have ego issues and then they won't ask and then they're waiting for somebody to come and pull them, whatever it is. Now, A players know that it is in their best interest to learn something. So they're always asking themselves the question, what else can I do? What else is there to do? What else must I learn? They are macho and yet humble enough to ask for help. Number 6, and the final one, and the most important one, if you ask me, is that A players have got this habit of finding solutions or seeing solutions all the time. They see opportunities all the time. When there's a saying in the consulting side of things and when you go into organizations, when somebody keeps bringing you problems, the chances are that the job has outgrown them, okay? The job has outgrown them. They can't manage it anymore. Whereas A players always see opportunities. They're like, you know what is the opportunity there? They don't see problems. No, they're always looking at an opportunity to make something better. When something comes up and it's a challenge, they sit down and say, okay, what is this challenge telling me? What is it demanding of me? What do I need to do? And the moment they answer those questions, bingo, they turn the challenge into an opportunity. Now you tell me as a leader, who does not want to work with people like that? I know you and me know that if you have 90% of your team, which is quite high, on your team of people who are playing like that, everything else becomes much easier. I'll ask you an important question right now. How many of you know right now that you have people on your team that are costing you because they're not A players? You know what I'm talking about. How many of you know right now that you could do much better if you replaced 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people on your team because they are not A players, because they make you work hard, because they don't give you the ability, they don't give you they don't allow you to be able to do what you love to do because you're always caught up following up on them. Okay? I know you know what I'm talking about. So, post-COVID, I want you to ask yourself a very, very sincere, open question. Do I have A players? That's number 1. Question number 2, is there something I'm doing right now that I don't need to be doing? Question number 3, are there things that I'm spending my time on that somebody else would take off my desk if they were an A player? Okay? And number 4, what is it going to take for me to be courageous enough to say, you know what? It has been a great run, but guess what? You cannot take me where I need to go. Therefore, it is time for us to go. I will leave you with a great quote, which is not a great quote, but a bonus point here for A players. They hate losing. Bonus point, they hate losing with a passion. Losing is not, when things get bad and they're not, these are guys who will stay up late and come in early because they're like, you know what? Losing is not for me. Why? Because they're A players. So, get out there, look at your team, do a self-assessment and ask yourself a question. Are these the guys to get me to the next level or are they not? Because the answer to that will determine your success and your ability to leverage your resources to go to the next level. So until next time, understand that leadership is about inspiring people to go to places they've never been. Until then, I want you to live strong and have the audacity to live life on your terms. See you soon. Bye-bye.